So today I am going to be sharing with you guys some books to help you get out of your reading slump. If you are watching this and you are one of those strange aliens that just doesn't get reading slumps, I am so jealous. Can I please have your life? Reading slumps are the bane of my existence and I just despise them. Personally, I have found that the sort of books that are really good for tackling a reading slump are the kinds that just are gripping from the first page. Sort of like the types of books where when you're reading it, it feels like you're watching some crazy action movie and you can't hit pause because then you're gonna miss out on all of the action. I have put together a humongous pile of books for you guys. I will also be leaving the links for all of these books in the description, so if you want to go check them out more for yourselves, you can do that. The first book that I have here is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. I love Julie Kagawa, and it follows a girl named Allison who lives in this walled-in city known as the Fringe. And in this city, there are vampires that keep humans as blood cattle. So when Allison becomes a vampire herself, she disguises herself as a human and travels with a group of pilgrims in search for a cure. This was a very exciting and action-packed book right from the first page, and I also love her Iron Fae series, which actually is also a great series to mention in today's video. So I would recommend that you check out this book as well as the Iron Fae series. Next, we have The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I love Maggie Stiefvater so much. It follows this event known as the Scorpio Races, which occurs every November, and it's basically this big race competition with these riders and their horses, but these horses aren't regular horses, they're called water horses. It follows a boy named Sean, who is the returning champion, and a girl named Puck, who is the first girl to be entering the competition. I really liked reading a fantasy book about horses because I am a horseback rider. This kind of combined my two favorite things, fantasy and horses. Oh, and also Maggie Stiefvater. Next is The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. So the premise of this book very much sounds cheesy and sort of like your very stereotypical YA fantasy book. I just remember flying through this one. It's kind of that cliche YA fantasy book that you can't really help loving. It's about this girl named Eliza who is chosen to be the secret wife of this worldly king, and not only has she been chosen to be a secret wife of a king, but she's also literally the chosen one. Once a century, one person is chosen for greatness, so she of course has to save everybody because she is the chosen one, but of course she is in danger because she has many enemies and there's romance, and it's a great time. But I remember picking up this one and just being able to get into it very effortlessly, so yes, definitely recommend. Next we have one of my top recommendations for this. This is such a good book for your reading slump. It's one of my favorites now because it was so good, and that is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. Basically, it destroyed me. In this book, after a nuclear war has occurred in the United States, a small group of survivors banded together to create a new nation. However, there was a lot of conflict over which of these two families would get to govern this new nation, and a family known as the Westfalls lost. And this book follows a girl named Ivy Westfall, so she comes from the losing family. And in this book, there's this strange ritual that occurs where every year the daughters of the losing side are married to the sons of the winning side as a way of maintaining peace. So Ivy is married to the president's son, and her job, which is directed by her family, is to marry him, seduce him, make him fall in love with her, and then kill him. It's insane because you know with the plot that everything is bound to go terribly and everyone is sort of doomed. You're scared of what's gonna happen next, but also you really want to find out. So next is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with this book, but just know that this book made me cry harder than like any book ever. This is a historical fiction and it follows a 15-year-old girl named Lena who lives in Lithuania, and one day Her mother and her brother are hauled away by the Soviet secret police, and they are thrown into a cattle car and taken to Siberia. Lena is also separated from her father, and as a way of trying to contact him, she sends secret messages in the forms of drawings. She also doesn't know if these letters will even reach his prison camp, but she wants to reunite her family, and it's just such a heartbreaking read. And like I said, one of the most beautiful books that I have read. The writing is amazing. The story, as I'm sure you can tell, it's such an intense one. It is a very popular and loved book, so if you have not read it, definitely do yourself a favor and pick this one up. Next we have the Nightshade series by Andrea Kramer. This follows a wolf pack. It is entirely about werewolves, and specifically our female protagonist who is a werewolf, and I read this series so long ago, like years ago, but what I remember the most about these books is my friends and I, we were all hooked. We could not stop talking about it. I remember we spent an entire road trip just like rambling all about these books because they were insane. And actually, one of my friends completely spoiled me for the ending of the last book, and I still have not forgiven her. Yeah, so hopefully you don't get spoiled like I did, because it was a really big spoiler. These books just have a lot of plot twists and they're crazy. There's so much happening. It's insane. Wow, you can just get sucked into all of these. Like look at how many pages you have to read. It will be so much fun. You should just go and binge these books. Next is another favorite of mine for this video, one that I think is possibly the best book that I have on this list actually to get you out of a slump, because it's, oh gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like what I was talking about before about that action-packed movie. This book, Angelfall, Susan E., is seriously, when you're reading it, it seriously is like watching an action movie. I binged this whole series, I think, in 2 days. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's one of my favorite books ever, and Penryn, our female protagonist, is actually one of my favorite. I think actually she is my second favorite female protagonist ever. This book takes place in our world after an apocalypse has occurred and angels now rule the world. Oh my gosh, it's insane. So follows a girl named Penryn who is out with her mother and her sister, and her little sister is kidnapped and taken away by these angels. She decides she needs to go and save her sister, and she does this with the help of a angel warrior by the name of Rafi, who has lost his wings. I don't remember how he lost his wings. All of the angels hate him, so he's kind of been banned as an angel. This book is, oh my gosh, I just love it so much. I can't even express my love for this book because it's so huge. I'm begging all of you to please read this book. Like, I will be so happy if you do. It will make my life. Next we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is absolutely insane. It blew my mind. It is about a man named Jason who is kidnapped and he's knocked unconscious, and when he wakes up to a world that is not like the one that he remembers. His home is not his home, his wife is not his wife, his son was never born. I love books and movies that have these kinds of concepts that totally mess with your head. It's just, oh, it's so exciting. This book has been getting a lot of praise lately, so if you are in the mood for an exciting thriller type book, definitely check it out. Next is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is a dystopian. There was a disease that killed most of America's children. However, those that survived this disease have emerged with something else, these powers that they didn't have before. I was never bored during this book. Many people really enjoyed this book, and I've also heard a lot of people say that this got them out of their slump. Next we have a book that I debated including this video because I was like, I talk about this book way too much. I just love it so much, and I feel like I find any excuse to plug it into my videos, but I couldn't resist it because this book truly tackled one of my slumps, and I think it's perfect for this video. So that's Stolen by Lucy Christopher. I mean, you can see it's a very short book. I think I read it in a couple of hours from start to finish, and those couple of hours were so emotional. It follows a girl who is at the airport with her parents, and at the airport she meets this guy and she starts talking to him, but he ends up drugging her drink and kidnapping her and taking her to Australia, where he lives in the middle of nowhere. I say this all the time. This is one of my top favorite books. It's entirely character driven. It's fascinating, and that's why I couldn't put it down. It's because you focus on these characters where their minds are just so fascinating. Oh my god, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm hardcore fangirling right now because it's an insane book and I don't know what to say. Next we have Delirium by Lauren Oliver. The plot of this book is very cheesy. It is a dystopian. It takes place in an alternate United States where love has been declared a disease. I just think that that sounds so cheesy, and so that's why I didn't want to read this book for a while, because I was like, love, a disease, what? But I have to say it was way better than I was expecting it to be. I think I didn't expect the writing style to be so good. This author is a wonderful writer. Also, the cover is like metallic and shiny and I really like it. So next, I absolutely had to include this author, even though I rave about her so often, because just in case there are people who don't watch my videos or for some reason have not read these books, I'm convinced that she is the queen of destroying reading slumps, and that is Jennifer L. Armentrout. Hey, if you want to get rid of your reading slump, just go ahead and read any JLA book ever. If I am terrified that I'm falling into a slump, I go straight to a JLA book because she is my savior. It always works. In fact, it just worked for me the other day. I read The Problem with Forever, which I just posted my review on, and this book got me out of a slump. Thank goodness for this book. I've also read so many other books and they're back there, so you know what, I'm gonna go grab them real quick. I have so many of her books. Okay, I'm coming back. Oh so popular Obsidian, which is about aliens, and I would recommend starting off with this book. It's my personal favorite series out of all of her books. Then we have Don't Look Back, which is a contemporary thriller mystery. We have White Hot Kiss, which don't judge the cover. It's not what it looks like. It's actually a really cool book about demons and gargoyles. And we have Half-Blood, which is, it follows Greek mythology. Honestly, look no further. Just read one of these books. Next we have Poison Princess by Cressley Cole, and this book has a really interesting plot. It's basically all of the characters that you see on tarot cards are real and exist as people. I've always really liked tarot cards. I have like 5 stacks of tarot cards at my house that my mom and I share, and I think that they're just really cool. So in this book there are groups of teens that are chosen throughout time to basically, they represent these characters, and they also symbolize a battle between good and evil. So the thing is, you don't know who is on the good side and who is on the bad side, so you're kind of left guessing. It's just that type of book that is going to get you out of a reading slump, sort of similar to Jennifer L. Armentrout books in the sense that it's kind of cheesy and like especially the romance, but it's also full of adventure, and it's this post-apocalyptic, super exciting story. And I never listened to audiobooks, but I actually did listen to the rest of the series. So also, if you happen to like audiobooks, I think that this one was fantastic. Those are actually all of the books that I am going to be recommending today. There were quite a few, and actually there are more on my list that I didn't get to fit in today. So for that reason, I think I will be doing a part 2 in the future. I of course can't guarantee that these books will get rid of your reading slump, but I really hope that they do. So let me know if you do end up reading one of these and it works. That would make me so happy. Many of these books that I mentioned today are some of my favorites. They're all such fun reads, so you really can't go wrong. I'm gonna wrap things up for today, so hopefully today's video was helpful for you guys. If you did enjoy it, you can go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I hope that you'll go and have yourselves a fabulous day, and I will see you guys next time.